Welcome to this episode of MoGuard TV. I'm State Command Chief Warrant Officer Michelle Strumpf of the Missouri Army National Guard and the president of our newly formed Women's Mentorship Council. In this episode, we focus on women serving in the Missouri National Guard as part of our emphasis to recruit and retain outstanding female guardsmen. We'll hear the reasons why women are joining our organization. We will see how a C-130 pilot, a cybersecurity officer, and a military police officer use their military skills in the civilian workforce. We'll also focus on the importance of mentorship and how females are transitioning into combat roles. In our final story, we'll learn why female guardsmen choose to extend their service contracts to continue serving in the Guard. I joined the Missouri National Guard because I wanted to serve my country and to be a part of something greater than myself. I aspired to the position I'm serving in today so I could have an impact and make a difference. Let's now hear why young women are joining today.
I joined the Missouri Army National Guard because I've wanted to be a soldier since I was a little kid.
I joined the Missouri National Guard to build a future for myself and to open up opportunities for myself that I would have never gotten before. Also wanted to break the stereotype on females.
I joined the Missouri Army National Guard to prove that I have what it takes to be a part of something bigger than myself. National Guard also allows me to have a civilian career as well.
The opportunity to be a part of that camaraderie and to be a military police officer has been incredible.
I enlisted in the Air National Guard when I was 17. Something I wanted to do was join the military, but I also wanted to go to college at the same time. Learned about the Air National Guard, and you could go to school and be in the military, and I thought that was awesome.
I joined the Missouri National Guard because both of my parents were enlisted soldiers.
My grandparents, my dad, my cousin, my brothers, they're all military.
I joined the Missouri Army National Guard because I wanted to do something other than just going to school.
The Guard has provided me a lot of opportunities. When I leave the Guard, my student loans will be paid off. I was able to get my master's degree and I can still maintain my civilian career. Plus, I've met a lot of amazing people along the way.
We'll now share 3 profiles of female guardsmen: a C-130 pilot, a cybersecurity officer, and a military police officer, showcasing how their military experience helps with their civilian careers.
I never hesitated coming into the Guard or getting into this industry because I was a female. And maybe that's because my parents, they never taught me that I should be wary of that or that there was a big difference. I never knew any different until I was in college and I was like 1 out of 12 females. I'm Courtney Echterling. I'm a pilot in the Missouri Air National Guard. I'm also a first officer at United Airlines. My love of flying really started at the age of probably 7 or 8 when a close friend of the family took me flying. He had a Piper Cherokee and we just took it around the city of St. Joe, and I think I fell in love with the idea of flying at that point. By the age of 17, I earned my private pilot's license, and it was at that point in my life that I knew I wanted to keep flying as a career. Growing up in St. Joe, we'd see the C-130 flying over, we'd come out to the air shows. My first job was across the field here at Express Flight, so that's kind of how it all started for me. As a child, I thought C-130 was, it was a big plane. It was the largest aircraft that I had ever seen. I knew that that was something that I kind of wanted to get into and to learn how to fly. Going to Embry-Riddle, I've always wanted to be an airline pilot, so that was always kind of a goal for me. It was just the timing and when I was going to make that move. The beauty of the Guard and Reserve is that you can do both. So having my Guard flying gig and my civilian side, it really kind of gave me the best of both worlds. Being in the Guard has helped me be a better person, I think, overall. As far as being a mother and a wife, it's made me more patient. It's made me appreciate things, especially being deployed in the Guard. When I'm at home, it's the quality time versus the quantity. During my deployments, I learned that I'm a lot stronger than I thought. I act well under pressure, and having a good crew is essential to being deployed. I love that airplane. It's really a part of me now. We've taken patients all over the world, we've delivered supplies. It's a great airplane, it's a workhorse, and it helps that you've got 5, 6 other crew members on board doing that with you. For me, being a female pilot, it's a positive. It's hard work, and if you have confidence in what you do and you come back and you prove yourself early on, you will earn the respect.
I'm Lieutenant Christy Cook. I'm a cyber threat intelligence officer. I went to the University of Illinois for military history. So by trade, I'm actually a historian. Following graduating from the University of Illinois, I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, where I studied museum administration. So I ended up graduating with my Master's of Public Administration, and that's when I went into ROTC. So I commissioned with my master's degree in 2012. A couple weeks before I commissioned, I actually had a phone call from Lieutenant Colonel Banwell asking if I'd be interested in trying cyber. It was pretty funny because I told him, I was like, sir, I don't know if I'm the kind of person you want touching computers. I don't do a whole lot of that. And almost instantly, it was like clockwork that it fell into place. Especially with me studying history, I had no idea how relevant putting history into cyber would actually relate. So what I do a lot of the time is I'm actually tracking our threats. So what's going on in the news and politics today has everything to do with what cyber operations are actually taking place. And so I'm telling the team what's going on so we know what to be on the lookout for as we're conducting our cyber operations from day to day. The Missouri cyber team is very unique, and we're on the very cutting edge in developing how we're operating. And a lot of units really are taking on what we develop here. I really love the opportunity that we have to be flexible and innovative in our development. And I realized how much I really loved being here and what I was doing. I actually made a very quick career change. So at the time, I was actually just entered a doctorate program for history. And I ended up pulling out of that doctorate program to see if this is really where I belong. And from there, I just hit the ground running. I went straight into working for a managed security services company where I did threat detection for them. And from there, I just went to a couple more jobs where I got more technical. And so that's how I ended up where I am now, doing cyber threat intelligence. I'm getting unique training from both the Guard side and from my civilian side that I can cross on both sides of the spectrum. And I think that really benefits both me and my civilian career as well as the team as a whole here.
That can sort of troubleshoot your mail infrastructure to know when a user.
Women are growing in this field. If you're interested in it, definitely talk to someone, reach out. Especially with our team here in the Missouri National Guard, if you just have the passion and drive for it, we definitely think that's the type of person that needs to be here.
I'm Taylor Wheeler. I'm a specialist with the Missouri National Guard 1139th Military Police Company. I'm also a police officer with the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. I always knew eventually I was going to be putting on the uniform. I have uncles and grandparents, and both my parents were in the military as well, so it was not a if I'm going to join, it was more of a when I was going to join the military. I remember meeting with my dad after September 11th and seeing the look in his face and him wanting to still be in the military. I made the promise at 7 that I was gonna enlist. Told him that I'd fight for both of us at that point. It was March of 2002. He ended up passing away. He had been suffering from and battling cancer for a couple of years at that point. And even though he passed, I ended up still fulfilling that promise when I was 18. My mom and I sat down and talked, and that's when I decided to call a National Guard recruiter that I'd known since I was in middle school. It made me mature a lot. I was mature, but I wasn't that mature. Now I'm to a point that I know what's at stake and I know what I need to do and what I'm working towards. It's essentially because of the National Guard and the people I've met that helped mold me into actually becoming an adult. It's definitely one of the best decisions I've made, for sure. It's essentially another family that you meet here. I have a lot of friends that I've met in the National Guard that I wouldn't have met had it not been for the National Guard. I've always wanted to be in the public safety sector in one way or another. I just always wanted to do something that would help the greater good and help everybody else. My mom was already a cop, so I grew up around it. And so I decided once I turned 21 that I was gonna get into a police academy and become a cop. When I'm on shift at work at KCK, serious situations could be at any turn. You can't always fear that though, because if you go into every situation thinking that that person's gonna end up hurting you or hurting somebody else, you're gonna get worn out very quickly. A lot of people dwell on loss and a lot of people dwell on losing people. One thing I've always focused on is the fact that those people wouldn't want you to dwell. I carry on the legacy of the officers that have been killed, and same with the people I've lost in the military. Make sure that their leadership and how they would help anybody and everybody, make sure that that's carried on as well. A lot of people have asked me why I want to be a cop in this day and age. What's going on with police doesn't discourage me from wanting to be a cop. It actually makes me want to be a cop more. It makes me want to go out there and actually make a difference and help people.
After the break, we'll share a story about mentorship in the Missouri National Guard.
For over 375 years, our nation's citizen soldiers have sacrificed, struggled, and triumphed at home and abroad. Through resolve, resilience, and readiness, our Army National Guard continues its proud legacy.
As citizen soldiers,
we are your next-door neighbors.
We're your colleagues in schools, offices,
and factories.
In every corner of America,
the Army National Guard is nearby. We have a stake in the safety and security of our communities.
After all,
that is where we live.
We serve in Afghanistan,
Iraq, the Balkans,
Africa, the Sinai, and the United States southwest border.
We are citizens.
We are soldiers.
We are your neighbors.
We are always ready.
We are always there.
The Army National Guard. Over 375 years of value and vigilance.
The Missouri National Guard seeks to empower its soldiers and airmen through mentorship. A mentor provides guidance, encouragement, and insight from their experiences. Missouri Air Guardsmen assigned to state headquarters recently discussed the importance of mentorship in their careers.
For the traditional force, you definitely want to have mentorship. This isn't what they do full time. They do this 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year.
I think it's really important to have mentorship in the Missouri National Guard because everybody can learn from other people's experiences. Why try to figure out a new way to do it if there's already tried and proven way? You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
As a supervisor, I'm making sure you're here at 7 o'clock. I'm making sure you're doing whatever you're supposed to be doing. As a mentor, I want to see you succeed as a whole person. Where are you at in your career? What are your goals? What's your next step? And as a mentor, how can I help you attain those goals?
As you get into the officer corps, you're managing people, so you're getting more mentorship on how to deal with personnel situations that you might encounter and how to lead by example. On the enlisted side, I think we all mentor each other, whether we realize it or not.
They're coming to you when they have personal problems, career guidance, and they haven't officially said, hey, you're my mentor, but you truly are.
A good mentor can have a lasting impact on a Guardsman's career. Tech Sergeant Bob Taggart learned some valuable lessons from a mentor while being a Jeep driver for a Chief Warrant Officer.
We were late to get to a meeting one day, and he let me know we were late, so we were moving pretty good, and he told me to turn here. And we went up on 2 wheels and came back down, thankfully. He told me to pull over, and I figured this is where I'm going to be buried out in the middle of this desert. We got out of the vehicle, and he actually walked to the front of the vehicle and showed me the narrow wheelbase, and he said these things turn over really easy. We're never in that big of a hurry. He never raised his voice. He was very calm and composed, and that's stuck with me since 1982.
Chief Master Sergeant Bill Wright, he was an aircraft maintenance chief as I was a young lieutenant. He watched me go through the enlisted ranks and then become commissioned as a new leader in the squadron that was 99.9% male. And here I was, a young engineer in charge of them. So he gave me some really good guidance and pointers in that area that really helped me. He talked to me about making sure that my family was well taken care of at the same time too. That lasted with me forever as far as keeping a balance in my family life and my work life.
Lieutenant Colonel Boykin, she's full-time as well here at headquarters, and I look to her all the time. Being a female in my position, I go to her probably weekly saying, hey, how would you present this? How would you tactfully address this issue? And she's always, always available.
I think a good mentor would be a person that has a certain level of patience.
Being present definitely makes a good mentor. Being in the weeds and knowing what's going on, what airmen are experiencing. There's a definite level of trust, care, concern. It's a very sacred relationship.
You try to do the best thing you can by that person at all costs. You try to help them find their way, and you do as much as you can to make them successful, because at the end of the day, when it's time to retire, that's really the legacy that you leave behind.
When we return, we'll profile a female guardsman integrating into a leadership role in a combat unit.
They say a photograph is worth 1,000 words. We say it's worth a whole lot more than that. The Air National Guard. Are you up to it? It's up to you. It's in your blood, your instincts, your gut. It's in that voice in your head that says, I could be something better, something stronger. We've been waiting for you, and you're resolved to protect this great land you love. Are you up to it? It's up to you. The Air National Guard.
First Sergeant Heather Jaffersack has had over a 20-year career in the National Guard. She started in South Dakota with the 109th Engineer Group. She transferred to the Missouri National Guard and joined the 110th Engineer Battalion. She spent 12 years with them, eventually deploying with them to Iraq as the Battalion Supply Sergeant.
I used to go on the ranges with them all the time. I was hazmat certified, so I always hauled all of their demolitions out for them. So I'd been on ranges several times, but I never got to understand the mechanics of the actual steps in processing that.
Before the Department of Defense opened up combat positions for women, female soldiers like First Sergeant Javersack could hold leadership roles and be in combat zones. But they were never allowed to attend training schools specific to jobs such as infantry, artillery, and combat engineers.
Process, I think, started last January for basic training, females coming through the training process. The Engineer Brigade took the lead with the sapper units. We've already integrated females into those units.
First Sergeant Javersack was moved from the 135th Signal Company based out of Kansas City to the 35th Engineer Brigade Headquarters and Headquarters Company based out of Fort Leonard Wood. With this move, she was required to attend the Army's Combat Engineer course.
That expands her capabilities and expands her opportunities for advancement. I've known First Sergeant Javersack for probably 20 years, I'd say. Great leadership presence, really seamless for her to come in and take a leadership role.
The course is 2 weeks long and is held at the Regional Training Institute, or RTI, at Fort Leonard Wood.
As far as going through the course, the instructors, I knew most of them from the engineer world, so they don't treat me any differently because I'm male or female. They've always seen me as a soldier.
First Sergeant Javersack isn't distracted by the historic nature of her accomplishment. She is focused on being a soldier and a leader in the Missouri National Guard.
It's not about the gender, it's about the right soldier for the right position, whether we're male or female, and as long as we treat each other with respect and act and be soldiers, that's what I think it's about.
In our final segment, we'll learn why female Missouri Guardsmen choose to continue serving in the Guard.
I've decided to stay in the Missouri Air National Guard because of the sense of family and community.
The people in the Air Guard have outstanding core values and they become an extended family.
I decided to re-enlist because the friends that we make here, they're more like family. We respect each other on a whole nother level.
It's really something that I enjoy doing, the camaraderie that I have with the people in my unit.
The Missouri Air National Guard has only brought out my good qualities. It's made me become a better person. It has provided me with a better future for myself as well as my family. I couldn't see it any other way.
During my break-in service, I missed the discipline in the military that you don't get in the civilian world.
I saw an opportunity to continue serving my country and also to serve the state of Missouri in the National Guard, and so I joined the 231st CE flight.
I just wanted to join a unit where they took care of their people, but they worked really hard.
I've served for 6 years, and I went ahead and extended for another 2 years because I enjoy the environment, skills that I've learned, the people I work with.
I want to make my son proud. I want him to promote me. I thought that was really beautiful to see. I just want to do something different and take care of my family.
The service that I give to citizens in the United States and in Missouri, I enjoy what I do, so I just decided to make a career out of it.
It is now my honor to introduce the commander of the Missouri National Guard, the Adjutant General, Major General Steve Danner.
Thank you for watching this episode of MoGuard TV. Your Missouri National Guard members sacrifice a lot to serve their country and communities. That's why, as Adjutant General, I've worked hard to ensure our soldiers and airmen have the tools they need to succeed and the growth and leadership opportunities they deserve. When the Department of Defense lifted restrictions on females serving in combat arms, your Missouri National Guard was already postured to maximize opportunities for both new and seasoned female service members. While new career fields in combat arms have opened, it's important to remember there are countless female combat veterans in the Missouri National Guard and the U.S. military. Throughout Missouri, You'll see many female guardsmen with combat patches and combat action badges from overseas contingency operations. As you've seen in this episode, guardsmen are empowered to find and be mentors. To grow as an organization, we must continue to recognize the important role of every guardsman. Our leaders have a sacred trust to ensure that empowerment is stressed at all levels throughout the Missouri National Guard. That's it for this episode of MoGuard TV. On behalf of Governor Jay Nixon and our nearly 12,000 Missouri Guardsmen, thank you for your support.